So this next duo is a duo that is probably the sole reason why Lai hockey even became a thing.
Okay. Okay. Dang. I mean, I'm thinking like tropical storms? Tropical storms, maybe?
Something to do with that. We're talking about islands and passing showers or weather changes.
Ah.
And it's because some people can see it as a con. For Lai hockey, maybe that's the case. But for others, it's a blessing. Um, and we have this saying on the island, and we call it passing showers. And you brought this up in past episodes before. But when you're on the beach on a sunny day and a cloud rolls on overhead and it starts to drizzle, and the mainlander, the tourist, starts to pack up the beach mat, towels, and chairs, while a true island boy or girl stays exactly in the same spot and says, no worries. It's just passing showers. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the gist of it there. Because Hawaii, like a lot of these islands, have trade winds bringing moist air from the east and northeast coasts, and they go up and over mountains and volcanoes. And that's where again, like you mentioned in your first pick too, that's where it condensates, and then it rains over the waterfalls and the mountains. That's why you have Rush Ko'olau mountain ranges in Oahu. And then on the other side, it kind of dries up and there's clear sunny skies. But because of this, along with warm ocean waters creating that condensation, it creates pockets of clouds that help feed the island's lush landscape. So this means it can be raining and then not raining in a matter of like minutes, in a few minutes. And this also means, like we experience only in Hawaii, this happens quite frequently, honestly. You can be driving in complete sun and then down a Hawaiian highway H1 or whatever, and then all of a sudden you hit a wall of rain. And then in 20 seconds, you're back in straight up sun too. And then you see a rainbow in your rearview mirror. So that's the experience, the Hawaii experience, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's why Hawaii is the rainbow state. There's so many rainbows because of these passing showers. And what the sun does, it refracts off rain, water, and it creates the spectrum of colors that you see as the Hawaii logo. So yeah, these passing showers is what literally makes us the rainbow state. Is what feeds our waterfalls, how we grow our taro, and how we feed our agriculture, and how Hawaii was just built on was through this weather changes. And of course, like experience with this, the weather changes, I think they are what make islands a very special thing. And of course, we're lucky in Hawaii because it's pretty moderate in terms of weather changes. There's, once in a while we get a hurricane or, a storm coming through, but not as often as a lot of these Southeast Asian islands because they deal with like monsoons, even intense tsunamis and everything. They're not more prevalent in those areas. So we got lucky living in Hawaii, but you can't be on an island without weather changes and passing showers. So I love it. I think that's just part of the island experience. That's my second pick.
I love it, bro. And, I think anyone who grew up with Carter and I and maybe spent a lot of time with Carter and I, that's a common phrase for me is passing showers. And, I mean it in like a positive way because there'll be times where we're hanging out at the beach. Like I know one example that always comes to my mind when I think of passing showers is 4th of July. I think it was maybe even during like right after COVID or something. And we're out there, and all of a sudden you just see these clouds coming in from the ocean. And everyone's like, oh, bruh, that does not look good. And I remember I just like turned to everybody because I think I kind of like coordinated it and everything. So I kind of had to be like, the voice of reason. I had to be like set the tone. And so I just turned to everybody and I was like, passing showers. The clouds eventually come in. Downpour. It's like coming down hard.
We're getting rocked.
Yeah, getting rocked. Yeah. Like the tents are like shaking and everything. And like everyone's like, bro, I thought you said passing showers. I keep on turning. I'm like, passing showers.
I think half the group left.
Well, yeah, no, it reached a point where people had to like maybe go into cars. Like they had to like kind of like start to
seek shelter.
Take shelter because pretty much it went on for at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half of just straight up rain. And the whole time, and at some point, I think right around the 30-minute mark, I was starting to think maybe this
I don't
isn't
know if
passing
this is a
showers.
passing. This is
I
just a
was thinking,
shower.
I was thinking maybe this could be just showers. And
This
but
could be
then,
just showers.
and I think at my like point of like starting to maybe accept, okay, this could be showers. We might have to figure it out now. It started to like slow down a little bit. It cleared up, and sure enough, it ended up being passing showers. And then when I came back into the tent, I told everyone, I knew it. It was passing showers. Yeah, but it's just like such a prevalent part of. I mean, at least I know for sure the Hawaii lifestyle. The passing showers is part of it, and we talked about like the metaphorical aspect of what passing
Yeah.
showers means as well. And I think it's like that attitude of it's not going to be bad forever. It's just passing, and I think there's something very important about that. And I think in a way, it's part of like who we are. I think we're positive by nature, and maybe it was how we grew up. Maybe it's like the fact that we grew up in islands where we knew that the showers that came would pass. So I
I
think,
just have to mention one more thing.
yeah.
I know I mentioned Lai Hoggy up at the top. For those who
Mhm.
don't know, there's a news weatherman. His name is Guy Hoggy,
Mhm.
and he's pretty infamous for reporting weather and it being the complete opposite, as it turns out during the week. But again, with passing showers and everything, weather changes on islands, you got to give the guy some slack because you literally have to give Guy slack because it's super hard to predict. Like, there's no
Bruh.
way of knowing. It can be on the weather app, it can say raining and it could be sunny, or it can say sunny and
Mhm.
then it starts raining. There's passing
Yeah.
showers, like we said. So,
Yeah.
got
The
to give the
hardest
guy
the
some slack.
hardest weather job in the
In the
world
world, in
potentially.
the world,
Yeah.
is island weather. Just like, I don't know, bro. Like, we'll see what happens.
Bro, one thing I'll always give Guy Hoggy too is he takes it on the chin and he honestly like memes himself about it. Like
He memes
he,
himself. He
he
just accepts
accepts
it.
it. Yeah. Cause he knows like
He
this is
knows
the
he's a surfer
hardest
too.
weather job. Yeah. This is the
Yeah.
hardest weather job in the world. And I always just thought like like always kind of just respected the fact that he like would always just kind of like put it out there because you have to put a lot of it would be he would say that a tsunami's coming or a hurricane's coming and it just wouldn't, it would miss
Yeah.
us. And I mean, but like he has to say
If you see a hurricane coming on the big chart and you're just trying to, and it's gonna hit this little dot in the
yeah,
middle of the ocean, like
yeah,
it might miss it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
good
And
chance, but
are you gonna not tell people like it could
yeah,
hit you? Like you got to let them know,
yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of respect
A
to
lot of respect. Got to give him
Guy
some
Hockey.
slack,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Got to give him some slack. But it's
Relax on the
unfortunate that his name does rhyme with lie.
lie. Yeah, yeah.
So it was an easy
Easy, easy,
gamification
easy.
of that. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
your second pick, bro?
yeah. So going into my second pick, and I don't know if all my picks this round are gonna have like this little introduction to it.
Okay.
So stick with me on this. All right. My next duo is all about showing up on your own terms. Like maybe 15 minutes late, maybe an hour. Who's counting? It's the ultimate excuse for running behind, but looking relaxed while doing it. This duo thrives on living life at your own pace, ignoring clocks, deadlines, and the frantic energy of the world around you. Think slow strolls, good vibes, and the kind of mindset where even traffic feels like a suggestion rather than a reality. So, you got any guesses here?
Yeah, it was just like Hawaii time and or island time and
Yes, sir.
our just style or just time of pace of living. How about that? Like island pace of living. And I don't know what the duo is, but just island style of living.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, knocked it on the freaking dome, dude. And my dynamic duo, and this one's like a little bit metaphorical, but it's island time. That's the duo, island
Oh,
time.
nice. Okay.
Um, and the reason why I took this as a duo is because there are two separate entities to it. There's the island, which is like the physical geographic location. And this is important to the phrase, because you're talking about like lush, beautiful scenery surrounded by water. And this evokes peace and simplicity, tranquility. But then the other aspect is the time. And, I think the way that island time works and islanders view time is it's relaxed, fluid, and it's perceived and experienced in island culture with unbounded by strict rules.
Mm.
Together, they create a concept of living that's slower, intentional, and rooted in the present moment. And so I think, of course, this kind of ties back into like the history of what, I mean, specifically maybe Hawaii, because that's what we know. But I think a lot of the islands kind of can relate to because historically, time kind of represents the natural rhythms of the environment, whether it be the sunrise, sunset, the tides, and seasons. And without like the harsh winters or rigid industrial schedules, many island cultures developed a more relaxed pace of being. And so, you know, indigenous cultures like places in Hawaii, Tahiti, the Caribbean value community, connection, and living in the moment. And this laid back mindset contrasts the punctual, productive focus of more Western industrialized societies.
Right.
And then, of course, like as time kind of passes, tourism grew in these tropical locations, and visitors began to notice this slower pace, whether waiting longer for meals or observing locals leisurely just going through their routines. And they actually coined the term island time, kind of now going back into our own reflection with this. I can confidently say that I'm a strong representative of island time. You know, I'm commonly late to things, whether it be a couple minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. And it's definitely something I'm like, you know, I'm getting better at, I'm working on because, you know, I also want to be better at just respecting other people's time and just being more, you know, on it. And of course, I think this comes with a balance though, because I think there is a lot of great benefits to just living life on island time because it's exactly what this is about. It's about being in the present moment. It's about kind of just staying to where you are and enjoying where you are, really, and just really taking in the beauty of everything around you and not getting so caught up with, oh, what's next? Oh, okay, I got to be here at this time. I feel like a lot of times people can get stressed out about being on time and that not being on time is such a bad thing. But it could also cause just unnecessary stress by just hyper focusing on always just like being there. I think just because you aren't on an island doesn't mean you can't live with the natural vibrations that life throws your way. So don't death grip the steering wheel of life. Instead, I say move at island time, move at a slower pace, and enjoy the beauty and the scenery around you. So yeah, I guess a question to throw out to you, Card, is where do you kind of lay on this spectrum of island time and maybe more
Yeah.
being on it? Yeah, the Western kind of concept of time of punctual, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I love that you brought this up because it is a big thing. This island pace of living, this island time that you talk about, and it's for real. And I don't want to call it the scapegoat for why people like us are late, you know, and now we're living on the West Coast, so things move a lot differently. And again, like you said, there's a fine line with it and there's a push and pull. And but me living in LA where things are moving so quickly and everything's, you know, it's almost disrespectful if you don't show up on time or early. I've had to shift my way of thinking. But there's so much to talk about here. I don't know. There's one little thing that I just thought about was even when you're saying goodbye to, well, first of all, I guess in Hawaii, when you're 15, 20, half an hour late, like no one cares. It's just, you know, it's almost expected. It's totally accepted as
Yep.
okay. But when you're somewhere else in the mainland and you're 10 to 15 minutes late, that could be the difference between, oh, you're fired or, you know, you're fired or like,
Like we
yeah,
don't
you're
want to be
just,
friends with you no more.
yeah, like you
Yeah.
lose respect or it's just
Yeah.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing. So if, for people who don't understand island time, you have to understand where we're coming from because it is a thing. And like you said, it's staying in the present. But a thing that I think about is the opposite of an Irish goodbye is a lot of people at local parties or get together, family get togethers, and yeah, just family outings or parties, anything like that. A lot of times, my family and I, especially my dad, my dad's known for this. He's kind of a little aloha type of guy, and he'd like to, once we say goodbye, I know I'm gonna say goodbye for like damn near half an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like once you say, okay, let's head out, we're
Yep.
gonna say it's gonna take us about like half an hour just to get out of here because you're talking story with people. You're just, you're talking about, oh, when we're gonna see each other next, less little things and sentiments that you want to share with the other person, and you're saying bye to each and every person. And I love that because it's part of the aloha spirit, and it's part of showing your love and appreciation for spending that time together. Even if you got somewhere to go, a lot of people are like, oh, I gotta head out. But then they end up staying another
Mm,
20 minutes because they're just saying goodbye and making
yeah.
sure, they give love to everyone in that space. So yeah, there's a fine line to it. Something else that I want to bring up is I had to adjust literally my walking speed when I first came up to college in California. And it's crazy. People literally walk slower in Hawaii by a good amount. I think you could actually like study this. If you went around Hawaii and took the average of the miles per hour people are walking versus a place like even LA or say so even New York, it'd be a large difference, huge difference. And there's a physical aspect of it, like you said, the island time where I think literally the weather, the humidity, and everything actually causes you to move a little slower, just relax a little more. Your muscles literally relax a little more. If you think about that, right? In New York, you're in a almost 10-degree weather, something like that. You go outside, you're trying to hurry up and get into a
Mm,
taxi, or you're trying to hurry up and get into another place because it's literally cold. Like you don't want to be outside. But in Hawaii, it's so beautiful and nice outside. Why not stroll around and enjoy? I think your body actually literally relaxes. So there's a
yeah.
physical reasoning for that, but I think also it's just the attitude with the island style of living. No stress,
Mm.
no worries. And I love that you brought it up. But I don't know, I strained away straight away from your question that you
No,
asked me, I think,
I
but
think you actually really answered it there. I think you kind of talk about that balance, which I was kind of getting to, is like that spectrum of where you lie. And I think, I'm in a very similar predicament as you, is, up here, like you kind of said, it's just two different ways of being, and I think that's kind of like what I really like about this duo as a whole. It really reflects that. When even for me, when I'm coming up here in Portland, and I can't imagine like SoCal, like there's probably a difference between SoCal and Portland, even
yeah.
between like the way people walk, the way people
Mhm.
move. But it was like one of the first thing I noticed, and I remember like me and my other roommates from Hawaii were like, "Brah, people move fast here. It's like people are passing me when I'm walking to class, like all the time." And I'm like, and it makes me have to like kind of pick it up a little bit. But then, yeah, it's like the same thing that you said, because I see it from both sides. There's time is very important. It's an important aspect of, it's like one of our most valuable resources too. And, I want to make sure I'm respecting other people's time, being on it in that sense. But then it's like that balance though, because for me, the way I see it is it's like, yeah, you want to make sure you respect people's time. But when I'm there, I'm using my time to be present, to just
Mhm.
enjoying the moment, because I love what you just said there about the family style. It's the opposite of the Irish goodbye at like these big parties, family parties, because that's the way I grow up, and I still try to do it to this day, whether I'm up here, whether I'm back home. I make my rounds, bro, and I like, say goodbye to everybody, regardless of how long it takes. Sometimes it could take an hour because you just end up talking story with someone for like another 30 minutes before you head out. Plan plans, with someone before you head out. Um, but I mean, this is like what Hawaii is all about. It's like that aloha spirit. It's about, showing people that you care about them, that you're there for them, rather than just kind of like dipping and going to whatever you have next. Which, like I said, I get it, because time is important and you want to maximize your time. But at the same time, kind of what this whole podcast is about, you spending time with other people isn't like a waste of time, and showing them that you care isn't a waste of time. And so there's that balance there, that, I think I'm still trying to figure out, now and stuff. Cause, we've been here for a good while away from Hawaii in America, but, I'm not I'm still trying to figure out where I lie on that spectrum or the best place to lie on that spectrum. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So the funny thing, what I started doing recently, and what I can plan to continue to do, is if I have a time block or an appointment or a thing I have to wake up for, like say this, I'm even late to this podcast in the morning constantly. Like, and I know you understand too, because it's island time. That's why. But I started doing a thing where, yeah, I set the time earlier. So so I'll set it like at 7 a.m. rather than 7:15 a.m. Or if I have an appointment, I set it like 15, 20 minutes earlier just for myself. So, because I know I'm going to be kind of in this island time type of deal, but at least I budget more time for that thing for the beginning part of it to, first of all, to be late myself, but then actually be on time, Western time. And then for the post side of it, where, yeah, we're saying our goodbyes and doing, making goodwill with everyone. But I know it might run long. So I budget that extra time, the post side of things too. So maybe that's the way. We'll see. But I'm also balancing the act between being on time and being present as well.